Well, good afternoon. Welcome to City Council meeting. Today is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. It's approximately 1 p.m. I am Mayor Eric Enriquez. Before we start, I want to mention that we have the American Sign Language up in the front, and they're available if anyone requires the interpretation services. We'll start with a moment of silence for the brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces as they protect our interests around the globe, and also for our Las Cruces Police and Las Cruces Fire Department who protect our city 24/7. If you join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start next with some recognitions and proclamation. We'd like to start out with the recognition of 3 high school students from Centennial High School. If I can ask Coach Danielle Dollar and Coach Carrillo to come up. And also we'd like to have the students come up here. Braden Allison, James Rogie, and Ty Dollar. Sorry about that, James. So these 3 amazing students at Centennial High School assist their coach. Since 2024, Braden, James, and Ty have been helping with the 8 and under and the 10 and under co-ed basketball through Parks and Recreation at Mershite Recreation Center. Braden and James are both Centennial High School varsity basketball players, NHS members, and student government. Ty Dollar is both a Centennial varsity basketball player and Centennial varsity golf, as well as Mesa. Even though they're very busy and challenging schedules maintaining their GPAs, they have showed up for the kids even in the summer. They practice 2 days a week with games on 1 day of these weeks. 3 gentlemen have showed up for these kids, coming from all backgrounds and challenges, showing a patience and kindness you don't always see in teenagers. We started our team with players with 0 experience, different personalities, co-parenting difficulties at times, and organized chaos. They have never complained, and they have purchased equipment on their own to better our team, and oftentimes stopping at the store to bring the kids prizes for their hard work. All 3 of these boys have been influential in the kids' lives, giving structure and teaching fundamental of the games and teamwork. But what has been the most awe and inspiring is the teaching of kindness, oftentimes giving hugs, kissing, boo-boos, tying shoelaces, and checking in their homework and teaching kindness to others. These boys often have come to our practice after their own practice or leaving our practice to go to the game. Braden, James, and Ty have never asked for recognition. Oftentimes, they even ask their friends and teammates to come and cheer on the kids at their games. If there is anything the City Council would do to recognize these future leaders of our community, it would be greatly appreciated. So that's what we're doing today. We want to recognize these three individuals. And so the certificates read to each one, to James, to Ty, and to Braden, in honor of their outstanding performance and recognition for the high standards of excellence. This certificate is issued in recognition of civic interest and an expression of appreciation by the mayor on behalf of the citizens of the city of Las Cruces, dated this 3rd day of November 2025. Huge congratulations to these three young students. Thank you very much for all that you do and the inspiration and the influence that you're carrying on for others. Let's give them a round of applause. Next is a proclamation, Las Cruces Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims. And I believe Heaven is here to accept. So the City of Las Cruces proclamation reads, whereas the state of New Mexico consistently ranks disproportionately high for roadway fatalities, and whereas our state has led the nation in pedestrian death per capita every year since 2016, whereas 401 lives were lost on New Mexico roadways in 24 of those here in Doña Ana County. And whereas countless persons having survived motor vehicle crashes live with serious ongoing challenges. And whereas the CDC and other organizations have determined that deadly roadway collisions are fundamentally preventable. And whereas the traumatic aftermath of crashes which result in serious injuries or death is especially devastating for the families of victims, for survivors, and for those involved in emergency services of various kinds. And whereas everyone who uses our streets and roads, especially those who are at great risk, pedestrians, cyclists, and other users of active transportation, would benefit greatly from enhanced implementation and evidence-based actions to reduce and eventually eliminate further traffic deaths and injuries. And whereas Vision Zero aims to unite our community to prioritize traffic safety, contributing to the health, equity, and sustainability of our municipality, focus joint efforts towards completely eliminating traffic crashes. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, join with others all around the globe on November 16, 2025, and hereby proclaim this date to be observed as Las Cruces Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims. Present this to Heaven.
Hello, my name is Heaven Kokit. Thank you all for being here today. This proclamation was presented to me because of those who have lost their lives due to road accidents. On November 16th, we will be having a Remembrance Day for those who have lost their lives at Albert St. Johnson Park. Please feel free to join us. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Jobs of the Week. Sarah Rainey.
Good afternoon. You'll have to excuse my voice. I've lost it today, so it's kind of rough. All right. My name is Sarah Rainey. I'm the one-stop coordinator for the Southwest region of America's Job Center, New Mexico. For the Jobs of the Week, we have a recreation event supervisor for the city of Las Cruces, starting at $45,000, and the posting closes on the 10th, so just a week away. We also have a marketing specialist for the city, starting at $18.77 an hour. That one also closes in a week. We have a universal banker, 2 full-time and 1 part-time positions at the Citizens Bank of Las Cruces. Those depend on your experience, and they close later on this month. We have a compliance officer for HHS, Doñana County, starting at $21.16 an hour, and the posting closes in a week. We have a fleet support specialist for MVT Holdings, starting at $14 an hour, and it closes on the 22nd. And then within our office at AJC on Alameda, we have a workforce development specialist for the Department of Workforce Solutions, starting at $21.96 an hour, and the posting closes on the 7th, so it closes this week. Get your applications in on that one. For the upcoming events, we have some upcoming events in November. There's not a lot going on, but there is a lot in our office. So if you are looking for a job, whether part-time, full-time, or whatever, we have several things that are going on. Job Corps will be in our office tomorrow. We also have Mountain Shadows this week. They are hiring on the spot and doing interviews. And then we have Community of Hope, our job readiness that we do monthly out there. We invite you all to come out and see how that one's going too. That one's getting more and more popular, and we have a lot of good repeats that are utilizing the services. If anyone needs any assistance at all, can reach us at the Job Center on Alameda, and you can also reach out on employeenm.com, and also all of our social medias are under employeenm. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yes.
Next is Pets of the Week with Carol.
Good afternoon. I'm Carol Nelson, Digital Content Specialist with the Animal Services Center of the Mesilla Valley. This week, our dog of the week is Key Lime Pie 91339. I'm a happy puppy who, despite my nutty kennel mate, I stay positive and full of energy. My tail is always wagging, especially when it comes to treats and affection. I've learned some great tricks. I can sit like a pro, and I wait patiently by the kennel door before it opens. I'm a sweet girl with a curious side. I love to chase butterflies and explore the world around me. I'm looking for someone who can give me lots of pets and love. I just want to be with my humans and share my love. And as has been the last couple of weeks, our cat of the week has already been adopted, so we're super happy for Strawberry Shortcake. And we do want to highlight our long-term residents because the longer they stay in shelter, it is harder for them to thrive. And we are highlighting one of our recent, so Cosette has been with us 300 days. Cookies and Cream is one of the examples of why it's so important to come adopt our long-terms. Was not doing well and is unfortunately now deceased. So please, please, please come adopt our long-term residents. Dexter has been with us 285 days and Finn 275 days. This coming weekend, we are going to be at the farmer's market from 10 to 1, so come by, not only visit the vendors, but come see our adoptable pets, bring a friend who's ready to adopt. It's always a great time. And for more information, you can visit our website at ascmv.org or follow us on social media. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Carol. Next is conflict of interest. Does any member of City Council, City Manager, or any member of the city staff have any known conflict of interest with any item on the agenda?
None.
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 No.
Okay, next is public participation. We'll allow up to 3 minutes. 3 minutes, no pending litigation on items on non-consent. Since this is election season, we want to please refrain from using this time as a political platform as well. So Katrina will escort those that wish to speak.
Mayor, council folks here today, and those watching online, I'm Lynn Moorer. I've learned of more galvanized water pipes in this city. At least 77 properties with galvanized service lines requiring replacement under the lead and copper rule are now identified. Many have been hidden from the public. More than a quarter don't show up in the online inventory that EPA requires because Las Cruces Utilities falsely labels them unknown or non-lead. Keep in mind that the reason galvanized pipes need to be replaced is because there's some involvement of lead at the connectors or upstream. This means calling galvanized pipes non-lead is not accurate. The city's records also hide galvanized piping by using inventory labeling that doesn't match the investigation report. There's 6 suites in the inventory associated with 505 South Main Street. Suites 102, 103, 109, 114, 115, and 117 that all say non-lead. By contrast, there's investigation reports for just 3 meters associated with 505 South Main Street, labeled meters 4, 5, and 6, which are all galvanized. It doesn't say which meters associated with which suite, but none of the 6 suites shows up in the inventory as having galvanized piping, even though the meters show galvanized piping. Handout 1 is an investigation report for a property on South Locust that indicates the system-owned line is copper and the connector materials are galvanized. Thus, this line should be regarded as galvanized. It says the customer-owned service line is also galvanized. By contrast, the inventory characterizes this property as non-lead plastic for both lines, even though there's no finding of plastic of any kind in the investigation report. The differences between the investigation report and the inventory record for this property are stark. One says the piping is galvanized. The other says it's plastic. If it's galvanized, it must be replaced. If it's plastic, it doesn't need to be. These differences can't be excused. If you owned this property, I really doubt you would be satisfied with this workmanship. This falsification of records is dangerous. In public health, environmental protection, and engineering, the devil is in the details. Bad things can happen if you don't get the details right. The evidence is indisputable that many of the city's records are clearly false. It's very troubling. Plus, EPA requires each property owner with galvanized piping requiring replacement be notified within 30 days of inventory completion, which handout 2 explains on page 6. But Las Cruces Utilities hasn't done this. It's a knowing violation. This is your utilities department that's consistently failing to conduct competent investigations, to maintain an accurate inventory, or to carry out the required notifications. You need to do something about it. Don't you agree? Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Mayor, City Council, I'm Liz Rodriguez Johnson. It's been more than a year since Las Cruces Utilities said it submitted the initial inventory to EPA, October 16, 2024, to comply with the lead and copper rule. Even though the city should consider the inventory to be a living data set that is continuously improved over time as materials are investigated, the city has been content to allow deficiencies to persist. The city must now correct them because EPA requires the inventory to be updated at least annually. Where on the inventory map is the other half of the city properties that Las Cruces Utilities has omitted? EPA requires the inventory to include all service lines. See handout 2, page 2, which Lynn Moore just gave you. Many of the properties that don't show hookups are mobile homes. Why are they still not included? Handout 2 also states on page 2 that water systems should include in their inventories pipe diameter, installation date, source of material information, actual material, non-lead lines, and other sources like goosenecks and solder. The inventory doesn't show any of this information for any property. Why not? The inventory used to show installation dates. But when false claims that piping was not lead because of installation after the lead ban were publicly noted, all installation dates were disappeared. Why? Why do dozens of properties still show up on the map in a location that doesn't match its street address? Handout A shows one example. The street address says this property is on Holly Drive, but the designation on the map is placed on the corner of A Street and E Street, which appears to be a block away from Holly Drive. Correctly identifying street addresses on a map seems like a pretty simple task that Las Cruces Utilities should be able to master after a year of working on the inventory. When Las Cruces Utilities demonstrates that it isn't carrying out fundamental tasks correctly, it creates doubt that more complex tasks related to compliance with the rule are being handled competently. EPA requires systems to offer to sample the tap water for lead for any consumer served by a lead, galvanized requiring replacement, or unknown service line who requests it. This requirement is set out in handout 4 to provide to you that was provided to you at the July 21 meeting. Handout B at page 3 is another EPA document that reiterates this requirement. Las Cruces Utilities still has not done this. A significant violation. Why do you continue to fail to instruct the city manager to assure that this sampling is carried out as required? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor Enriquez, City Councilors, Chief Story. My name is Shirley O'Brien. I am the Chief of Student Services and Community Relations for Las Cruces Public Schools. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come by this afternoon and speak for a moment about our bond and mill levy that will be on the ballot or has been on the ballot for early voters. So we have a $65 million bond on the ballot that and a renewal of a 3 mill levy. The $65 million bond will be used for renovations, repairs, maintenance, and new classrooms for our students. Some of these items include $20 million for Mayfield High School renovation. That will be an ongoing project because it's going to take us about 8 to 9 years to get that project completed, but it is time for that building, which is almost 60 years, to get a renovation and a facelift. We also have some Title IX projects to bring equity to our boys and girls athletic facilities at 3 of our high schools. Those will be at Mayfield, Las Cruces High, and Oregon Mountain High School. Playground equipment and shade structures at several of our elementary schools. We know how important it is for our playground equipment to be up to standard, and we also want to provide shade for our students. We know our summers are brutally hot and our late spring and early fall. We also have some roof and HVAC replacements that we'll be doing in several of our schools. And safety and security enhancements. Every time we poll our families, of course, safety is always #1 on the list. We will be working on exterior key card entrances for every one of our schools so that everybody enters with a badge. And we'll do that on the exterior of all of our schools, and then we will move into the interior, and every one of our schools will be affected by this project. We also have a small contingency fund there to make sure that if we have any overruns or increases due to supply chain issues, we have a little bit of money to make sure that we finish these projects. We do have some carryover from the 2021 bond, which we will complete in this bond. We want to be transparent with our community and let them know that we said we were going to do these projects and we will complete them. That is about it. Let me just say one more thing about our 3 mill levy. So that generates about $10 million a year for our school district, and that again is used for maintenance and upkeep, also for band instruments, band uniforms. So that funding is also very important. For those going to the polls, make sure you turn your ballots over. Some will have one of these questions on the back of their ballot. And with that, I stand for any questions if that's allowed. No? Okay. Thank you.
No, thank you for the information, Shirley. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tim Jenkins here. After watching last week's session, it is crystal clear to me that there is a certain demographic of people who spoke at last meeting that wish for nothing more than to defund and demoralize our police department, which I find very hard to fathom considering that they have never a day in their lives stepped into the shoes of a law enforcement position. I also find it very troubling that these same individuals attended and voted at all 6 town hall meetings, even though it wasn't even in their district or they had no business even being there. When there was all the discussion and talk about raising the GRT, what was discussed and talked about time and time again, the number one priority that was at the top of the list the entire time was public safety, and how we can make our city safer and support the police in their efforts to do the same. So how is it possible that not even a year later, public safety seems to have worked its way down to the bottom of the list? And how is it possible that spending $35 million on a library renovation is somehow going to make our city safer? I guess I will answer my own question. Renovating the library will never in a million years make our city safer. In my opinion, the GRT should never have been raised without a concrete plan in place of where those funds would go. Public safety needs to be everyone's top priority, no matter what anyone says. Our city is being overrun and destroyed, and it is heartbreaking to watch this play out before our eyes. I believe in my heart that it should be mandatory for every member on city council to do a ride-along with LCPD at least every 3 months, so you all get a small taste of what our officers face day in and day out in the trenches in our city. Our officers need our support more than ever now. Thank you.
Next is the acceptance of agenda.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
This is on the motion to accept the agenda as presented. Councillor McClure?
Yes.
Councillor Matisse?
Yes.
Councillor Graham?
Yes.
Councillor Cran?
Yes.
Councillor Flores?
Yes.
Councillor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. We'll start out with item 7.1, resolution number 26-060.
Move to approve.
Second by Flores.
All right, Cynthia, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. My name is Cynthia Lavillo, Capital Improvements Program Manager, and I have a few amendments for you to review. We have two types of amendments. Today is one for a grant that was recently accepted, and the second group of amendments are for projects that, as their project is moving forward, we want to just reflect the funding that they have available to continue with the project. Recently, Council approved a grant for the airport, specifically for the automated weather observation system, and it will bring the total for the project for 1.3. Now we have this set of projects that are moving forward, so we're just making an amendment to reflect the funding that they have available. ADA sidewalk program will have an increase of 471 for a total of 621,000. The Real-Time Crime Center, which the project specifically is to improve and acquire their technology, they will have an increase of 108,000 for an ending balance of 879,000. And the electric buses is for the procurement of those buses. So this will have an amendment and will bring in the ending balance of 6.3. The next set of adjustments are for the utility department. We have gas building improvements, which are improvements to the interior and exterior of the building. With the amendment of 487, this will have an ending balance of 769,000. We have for gas, FAMSA, which is a regular grant that the utilities department has. This will bring in an ending balance of 10 million. And then the gas rehabilitation, which are several projects related to the rehabilitation, will have a change of 487,000 for a total of 2.5. So these are only the set of amendments that we have for you review today related to utilities, and then these ones are for solid waste, wastewater, and wastewater. The first two are for the building improvements, again, interior and exterior improvements. Solid waste will have an ended balance of 1.5. Wastewater, with the increase of 22,000, will increase to 574. And lastly, the water development will have an ended balance of 1.21,000. With that, these are your council options for today.
Thank you, Cynthia. Any questions, council? All right, seeing none. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 26-060. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Coran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is item 7.2, resolution number 26-061.
Move to approve. Graham?
Second.
Okay, Jen.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. Jan Lauterbach with Housing and Neighborhood Services. The resolution before you seeks approval of a pre-commitment of funding, city funding for an affordable housing development to be known as the Royal Crossing Apartments. To help address the housing shortage and coinciding with City Council's strategic plan and our affordable housing plan, we are requesting a pre-commitment of city funding up to $4.7 million for the complex. The complex is proposed to be built in the Royal Crossing subdivision, what I would call the Old Country Club. If you're newer to Las Cruces, it's in the area north of Apodaca Park in the development where the Three Crosses Regional Hospital is located. We have been communicating with Colin Kruger of Enriched Communities LLC over the past several months on this proposed development. Enriched Communities LLC has done work in several communities in New Mexico, most recently finishing up Elk Meadows, a 72-unit complex in Ruidoso. This will be the first complex, or the first development for them in Las Cruces. Enriched Communities has been working in partnership with Tierra del Sol Housing Corporation on this project. However, we were notified late last week that Housing New Mexico, otherwise known as MFA, has a threshold requirement for financial feasibility in which an entity or including their affiliates will not receive more than one award. And Tierra del Sol Housing Corporation is associated with 2 LIHTC applications through Housing New Mexico. So Enriched Communities will either be looking for a new nonprofit partner or going alone, just putting that in there. The proposed Royal Crossing Apartments will be a 108-unit complex for seniors and families. You'll see the bedroom sizes there, 24 1, 52 2 bedrooms, and 33 3 bedrooms, with total development cost estimated at $30,982,000. The developer will be working with city staff to allow for connectivity with amenities currently located at Apodaca Park. And we were provided a preliminary sketch with community garden, splash pad, and other play areas. The request for a pre-commitment of funding is subject to the project receiving the award of low-income housing tax credits and the developer being certified as a qualified grantee pursuant to the state's Affordable Housing Act and the city's Affordable Housing General Oversight Ordinance. The investment of city funding strengthens the LIHTC tax credit application and would be provided as a 20-year residual receipts loan at 3%. If the project is awarded LIHTC funding, we would come back to council at a later date for approval of the loan agreement. Here is our preliminary site plan. You'll see the 2 buildings with green space in between. We have the community garden, splash pad. Again, they'll be meeting with parks also. Next slide is a picture of the vicinity map. You'll see the subject parcel outlined in red. Then I have an architect's rendering of the property. And with that, I stand for questions and the...
Jen, any questions? Councilor Curran?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I wanted to also note that I have the developer in the audience for any additional questions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Super exciting. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about 4% versus 9% and the context for that, and if there's any, oh, look, how handy that you anticipated my question. Anyway, I just wanted to allude to this because I think it's relevant to the part of the conversation that we're going to have. So please.
Yes.
Teach us.
Mayor and Councilor Curran, I'm not the best teacher. I have Natalie probably in my back pocket, but a 4% versus a 9%. A 9% with Housing New Mexico offers 70% of the construction cost towards the deal, and a 4% only offers 30%. So there's a lot more financing needed with a 4% than a 9%. That's my education on the 4 and the 9s.
This is more competitive and more benefits to the community if we're able to qualify for it, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Mayor and Councilor Curran, that is a good point to make. I apologize for missing that. The 9% is a competitive application with the Housing New Mexico, whereas a 4% is not.
Thank you.
Councilor Matisse?
Do you have any idea who the nonprofits, do you have a list or an idea who may step up to the plate?
I'm going to ask Colin, the developer, to come up.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Thank you. We're looking at a couple of options on the nonprofit. The Housing New Mexico Finance Agency did change the scoring this year, and they've changed it from a high of 10 points, which was last year, to now a high of 5 points. So we don't think it's necessarily going to, kill the deal from that perspective. We think we have enough points through other means on this particular deal. So, but we do have Tierra del Sol standing in front of us as potentially a grantee with regard to this particular project for the city of Las Cruces. not necessarily for the finance agency.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, I think that's it. Thank you, Jen. This is great, as we say, it's exciting news because it is, as you mentioned, Jen, the old country club, and we've seen a lot of dead trees and dead space there, and this is an opportunity to bring it back to life and thriving again in the community. So thank you, looking forward to it. Christine?
Mayor, I just had one
I'm
more
sorry. Yes.
question, maybe for the developer. So that's your total cost. There's no possible increases. It'll be at the 108,000?
You're talking about the $33 million number? 31 million is.
31 million, and then it's 108 apartments.
108 apartments, yeah.
What does that
Typically,
per unit cost?
on the hard costs, 185,000 per unit. 286 on the entire development.
286, okay. Thank you.
Which is on the lower side. Now we're, to the point of the 9% versus the 4%, we're trying to max out on units. Typically, a 9% deal would average between 60 and 70 units, but we're trying to push, with the city grant, we're trying to push the number of units up to 108, so we can get more units on the site.
And that's where the Councilor Cran was saying the competitiveness comes in. There'll be a lot more people wanting to do it.
Yeah, it's a competitive program. As a company, we were successful last year in securing a 9% award for Rio Doso. So that's the same program.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Seeing no other. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 26-061. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
No.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next is item 7.3, resolution number 26-062.
Move to approve.
Second.
And Natalie Green.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Natalie Green for the record. The resolution before you is adoption of the 2026 to 2030 Citizen Participation Plan, which will be part of the city's consolidated plan. As a little bit of background, the city is designated as both an entitlement community and a participating jurisdiction. So that means that we get access to entitlement formula funds every year. As part of that, we need to submit every 3 to 5 years a consolidated plan. Our consolidated plan currently expires on June 30th, so we are in preparation for the next plan. That also includes, or is supposed to include, an analysis of impediments to fair housing choice, although the federal government is changing that a little bit, and we're monitoring that. The first part of that consolidated plan process is the adoption of the CPP, and that describes how residents will participate in both the development of the consolidated plan, but also future action plans and capers for the coming years. Again, the plan sets the minimum for what the city must do, and it's intended to provide citizens of all ages, genders, economic levels, races, ethnicities, and special needs equal access to the planning process. It is drafted in accordance with the HUD regulations and works to ensure maximum participation across the process. City council approval is required in order to proceed with the development of the 2026 consolidated plan and our annual action plans, and those are required to be submitted by May 15th, 2026, although that may change given the shutdown and the continuing resolution. So it'll change within usually 60 days from whenever the allocations come out. Some highlights in the plan is it does outline our advertising requirements. It also outlines various comment periods for each of the documents that we produce every year. It does set aside requirements for both ADA and LEP accessible meetings. We are going to continue to maintain those standards, even though the federal government has told us we don't have to. It also outlines substantial amendments, and then it does have a process in the event there's another declared emergency of sorts in which we would have to rapidly shift funds. Assuming this is adopted today, we are already well underway with our stakeholder interviews. Our community survey is active through December 15th, and then we have already started some of our targeted mailings and agency partner flyers. So in anticipation of the CPP, we mailed out just under 10,000 postcards to low to moderate income household or census tracts across the city. We've also done some boosting on social media, and then we printed 6,500 flyers, which will go into food boxes over the next month countywide. This is just a quick snapshot of what that planning process looks like, or what the consolidated planning process looks like. Again, it has a public participation and consultation component. From there, we will also work on a needs assessment and a housing market analysis, which will inform the strategic plan for the 5 years. And then each year, we have to prepare a one-year action plan, which tells HUD how are we going to expend our funds and how are we meeting that strategic plan. And then all of the reporting happens through, it's called IDIS, I-D-I-S. I know it sounds like a disease, but it's not. It's the Integrated Disbursements Information System. And then we also prepare an annual report back to HUD of, you gave us this much money, this is how we spent it, this is what's happening. And so it's a very circular process every year. And to participate in the process, since I'm up here, folks can send us an email, fairhousing@lascruces.gov. They can send letters. They can call us. There's information on our website, and we'll continue to post the public meetings there. And then there's also this QR code, which will send you to the survey on our website. And with that, I will stand for questions, and you have your standard council options.
All right, thank you, Natalie. Any questions, Councilor Flores?
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Natalie. How is it that you're reaching out to get responses? How?
So we do a mix of stakeholder, so one, we identified stakeholders already, and our consultant has reached out to them to schedule interviews, so they're able to do both virtual and in-person meetings. What we're trying to do is get on people's standing meetings. So if someone has a specific standing meeting with a group, for example, they met with the Affordable Housing Committee 2 weeks ago. They've also met with Doniana resilience leaders, the Housing Task Force, and there's some other groups that they're doing.
So do community members actually participate, or is it just the organizations?
The community does. For example, again, we mailed 9,783 postcards specifically to residents who reside within low-income census tracts. Mm-hmm. So CDBG and home funds are for people who's meet that low to moderate income definition. So we take a special initiative to target those least likely to participate in the process. And so that is one way. And then again, we printed flyers, so Casa de Peregrinos will be putting flyers in all of the food boxes across the county, and that includes the city's pantry and the county's mobile pantry, so we can get participation in that survey. And then we also, of course, advertise in the paper and on the city's website. And then if you watch Más Las Cruces, there's also a video advertising the survey for this month.
Great. Thank you so much, Natalie. Thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else? No. Okay, Christine.
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 26-062. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is item 7.4, Council Bill number 26-008, ordinance number 3100.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
And presenting will be Henry.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Let me get this started. This is an ordinance to approve a telecommunications franchise agreement with Ripple Fiber New Mexico LLC, which I'll refer to as Ripple for this presentation. I'm also joined remotely by our outside consultant, Tom Dushin, who helped us negotiate this agreement, as well as by a representative from Ripple, Noel Dalala. I hope I'm saying that right. They are both available to answer any questions after the presentation, if you have any. So this franchise agreement is to, it concerns telecommunications systems in the city, which is to include fiber optic internet, which is the real subject of this agreement, is to provide fiber optic internet infrastructure throughout the city. To give you the background, the legal background, very basically federal law. Sorry. This one, excuse me. Thank you. To give you very basic legal background that kind of sets up why we're doing this agreement, federal law requires local jurisdictions to open up local markets to competition, to provide services to people, to obtain things like fiber optic internet. It's that basic idea of encouraging competition that we're working with. The city has to offer the same standard terms and conditions that it offers to other franchisees. I believe at this time we have something like 7 franchisees operating in the city to differing levels of activity. But we have developed this agreement based upon past agreements that we already have with different franchisees in the city. So some of the things that cannot change or should not change unless there are good reasons are, for example, the term of the agreement. I'm going to just click through this to give you kind of the standard terms. Term of the agreement is 10 years. It grants a non-exclusive franchise to operate in the city right-of-way by installing fiber optic cables, and includes compensation to city of a fee of 2% of annual. Oh, I recognize that as a mistake. I apologize. It should say quarterly, not annual. Quarterly gross revenues, including phone, internet, and data services. Although, as I said earlier, only fiber optic internet is, I believe, planned at this time. And what are different terms, updated terms in this franchise agreement compared to our past franchise agreements? The things that are reasonable that we can request as a city from franchisees operating locally is what I think we're trying to accomplish here, which is better communication with the city for how we construct fiber optic infrastructure in and around. We had conversations inside the city with our community development, our public works, and our utilities departments to make sure that this franchise includes more robust protection so that the city better knows who's operating where and how, and everything has good approval and management from the city. And with that, I stand for questions if you have any. You have the standard options, Your Council.
I thank you for that.
Thank you, Henry.
Sorry.
Oh. No, I was just going to, as a reminder, anyone that has questions, we have the consultant on online as well. So, yeah, Councilor Corinne.
Thank you. Sorry, I am very excited to learn about all about these franchise agreements that exist. So thank you for giving us a little orientation. Thank you to the folks who are online. And I guess I have 2 questions. One, I really appreciate you all thinking about the dynamics of moving forward. How can we better leverage the idea of a franchise? So thank you for including those things, and I'm glad to see those as part of this franchise agreement. The second part that I'm wondering, I don't know if you want to talk about this or if this is too political, but I think there's some history of exclusionary franchises, especially as it relates to fiber optic internet, and that is in part why we're in a little bit of a situation with this. But I don't know, maybe I'm misunderstanding my history of this. But in any case, I'm happy to hear that the market is expanding. And if you don't want to share anything about the history of sole source franchise agreements, that's fine. But from my perspective, I'm just glad to hear that this is both going to be have a really integrated conversation with the city as it goes on, and 2, that it's broadening the internet related options, I think, for people in our community, because I do think that that is part of the reason that whether this is a public utility or not a public utility, I guess is what I'm alluding to, and I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, but I'm glad that this is happening, so thank you.
Councillor Coram, thank you very much. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by references to exclusivity. There is an ongoing conversation at the federal level over whether or not fiber optic internet is construed as an information service or as a utility under federal communications laws, which can have different effects for how they're regulated. I believe at this exact moment, the FCC considers them to be information services. But to kind of get to the nuts and bolts of this franchise, it includes language that is intended to be flexible and to capture whether or not there is a change in opinion from the FCC. You're right, Counselor, that sometimes political parties come in and that definition changes at the federal level. That's not something that we locally here can control, but we are trying to make sure we account for that through flexible terms in the franchise agreement.
Thank you. And I appreciate, not political parties necessarily, but the politics of public utilities. Yes, generally, I think is really interesting if any of you all want to learn more about franchises and this discussion. Super interesting. But thank you for accommodating that and having that as part of the contractual discussion too. So thank you, Henry.
Thank you. Councilor Matisse.
Yes, can I ask you, is it both residential and commercial, or one or the other, or both?
So the franchise is not, I believe it's not specific. I don't want to speak to Ripple's particular business plans, Counselor. I will let Ripple's representative do that if she wishes to. I will say I believe this allows them flexibility to go where there is demand for the service. So typically a franchisee, and again, I don't wish to speak for Ripple particularly, the franchisee will first go out into the community and see who is interested in the service, and once they have agreements in place or prospective business in place, they will expand there. So it could be residential in theory, or it could be just commercial in theory, or it could be both. It's just where the demand is. I will give an opportunity to Ms. Dalala to speak if she wishes to speak from Ripple's perspective. Oh, it looks like she isn't here. It looks like we just have, oh, there you are.
Live.
Snuck up behind you. Hi. Yes, so to answer your question.
Beam me up, Scotty.
To answer your question, Counselor, right now our model in our proposed plan in the city of Las Cruces is residential. We have it in our business model potentially in the future to also offer fiber internet services to businesses, but right now our primary plan is going to be to residents.
No, the reason I asked that is in my neighborhood, I believe it's Metro, Vexus is installing.
Yes.
Maybe you could catch up with them and use the same holes.
Yes, well, it's not in our business model to overbuild directly another fiber provider, but we want to come in and bring competition to the city. So we're hoping that that will happen here in Las Cruces.
Okay, thank you. And I hope you're as efficient and as organized and as neat as Vexus has been. There hasn't been that many complaints in District 2. And where there were some complaints, they actually took care of the right-of-way, the rocks and whatever landscaping, and replaced it totally. So I hope you have the same intention.
Absolutely. Communication is key for us. We want to be in communication with the city and with the residents as much as possible. We also have a dedicated green team that would come behind construction and address any landscaping issues that go above and beyond just filling in holes and burying cables, that would address electric fences, irrigation systems, specialty landscaping as well.
No, what a miracle. You're going to be online and here you are popped up live. So you do good things. Thanks very much.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, thank you. Seeing no other, Christine, go ahead.
This is on the motion to approve ordinance 3100. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is board appointments. I'll need a motion, a second, and a vote. The first one is Lem Hampton, new appointee to the Veterans Advisory Board.
Move to approve.
Second.
This is on the motion to appoint Len Hampton to the Veterans Advisory Board. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. The next one is for Julian Gallegos, new appointment to the City Art Board.
Move to approve. Second.
This is on the motion to appoint Julian Gallegos to the City Art Board. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. The next one is Joy Nelson, new appointment to the City Art Board.
That's great.
Move to approve.
Second.
This is on the motion to appoint Joy Nelson to the City Art Board. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is notice of proposed ordinances. There are none. Next is City Council member board reports and comments. Councilor McClure.
None, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Matisse.
None, thank you.
Councilor Grant.
I'm good too.
Councilor Correct.
Sorry, we already surpassed the 2 p.m. mark, so I'm not gonna, no records, sorry. I have a few comments. I appreciate everyone's brevity though. Shame, I know. I wanted to welcome the Danger Bird participants. That's this weekend. Super exciting at Klein Park. There will be a kickoff on Thursday from 4:30 to 7. So that's a different group of folks here who are enthusiasts with the outdoors and cycling. And I think danger. I don't know if that's actually part of it or if that's just a name.
Bike packing.
Bike packing.
Yep.
No danger.
Oh, tons of danger.
Okay. Danger. Danger Bird, starting, that will be occurring starting on Friday, I think. But Thursday night is the welcome event. And the one other item that I wanted to highlight was I think this is happening after another city council meeting, but the sustainability EV car kickoff, which I'm really excited that we'll be able to borrow or rent EVs as part of the sustainability office event. And then last but not least, the Veterans Day Parade, which I think probably will be alluded to by other folks here, but next Tuesday. So thank you. Sorry.
It'll be Saturday. Councilor Flores.
Pass.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a reminder that, yes, the Veteran Parade is Saturday, November 9th. It'll be at 11 a.m. at the downtown, so please join as we pay tribute to our veterans on that day. And tomorrow is voting day. Please remember to go out and vote. And I just want to say last week I was able to attend the schools for Red Ribbon Week for being a drug-free schools, and we got to continue that. We got to continue to let the students know that we appreciate them, and to go out and let them know to live a drug-free life. And it was a good turnout at Jornada, so just wanted to mention that. And with that, Flores has a mulligan. Yes.
I just had the light went on. No. I noticed that when the young woman who was here speaking on behalf of the school bond, she didn't mention that there would be no tax rate increase, because I think people are always afraid that when a bond comes in, there's going to be some kind of an increase. So that should be put out there.
Yeah, that it states there will be no tax increase, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, there will not be a tax increase. They'll move forward with what is already existing. Okay. Thank you, Councilor Flores. And with that, I'll turn it over to our city manager, Ikani Tamopaya.
Thank you, Mayor Enriquez. City Council, just one item, and then I'll let you all go. The Communications Office was nominated for an Emmy, as you may already know, in the branded content category for the I Can't Do Every Job hiring video. They will be attending the Emmy ceremony in Phoenix this weekend, November 8th, and we are hopeful they bring some hardware home. We are proud of the talented group and skill of our team is being recognized locally, regionally, and nationally. Thank you very much, Mayor. That's all.
It's great news. We'll look forward to the hardware. Okay, with that, motion to adjourn?
So moved by Flores.
Second, Graham.
This is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes.